All right, I'd like to call the Zionsville Safety Board meeting for March 16th to order. We're going to take attendance. It looks like we're all here. Do you need me to say the names? Okay. We're going to be doing our oath of office today, since this is our
Yes.
first meeting of the year.
Yes, Madam President. We would ask that you all stand.
Oh, it's after.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Evan Norris,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the ordinances of the town of Zionsville, Indiana,
and the ordinances of the town of Zionsville, Indiana,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
of the Zionsville Safety Board
of the Zionsville Safety Board
for the town of Zionsville, Indiana,
for the town of Zionsville, Indiana,
according to the law
according to the law
and to the best of my skill and ability.
and to the best of my skill and ability.
Congratulations.
And we have a new member this year, Chris Lee. Since you haven't had screen time before, we are recorded. So, all right, now we will be doing the election of officers. Do we have any nominations for president?
I'd like to nominate Sarah Sampson for president.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of, do I abstain? Oh, all in favor of me continuing on as president, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. A nomination for vice president. I would nominate Evan Norris as vice president.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. All in favor of Evan Norris as vice president, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. We have our continuing officers. So we have an approval of minutes for November 17th. Those were distributed via email. Hopefully you all had a chance to read them. Chris, you would abstain from this one since you weren't at the meeting.
Okay.
So do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Vote to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, that passes 4-0. And now we have the fire department monthly report from Chief. Oh, maybe not. Which one? Okay, Chief and Quarter. You both
Chief and
stood up.
team.
And I was
Chief and
like, who's doing it?
We've got about 5 items for you on the fire department monthly report updates. I'm going to talk to you first about Fire Station 295. At the earlier meeting, as you saw, the Zionsville Town Council in the second reading of the ordinance did pass for the $8 million bond. That's where we'll be borrowing the money to build the West Side Fire Station. We are doing this through a BOT, build, own, transfer process. And we'll be back before the council at the April 20th meeting for the council to consider an appropriation, basically taking the borrowed money and making it available to be spent. We'll also at that time, as we continue down the path, have a contract, hopefully with our developer, GM Development, for the building of the fire station. We have a fire station design team consisting of Chief Gibbons, Chief Potts, myself, and 5 additional firefighters, which are Battalion Chief Brian Miller, Captain Scales, Jeremy Anker, Evan, Shane Doherty, and Jeremy Anker. Trying to remember everybody's name. Who have been meeting on a weekly basis with our development team, working out the design of the new fire station. So it remains on schedule, so we would hope to have that at the April council meeting. There would be no action for the safety board to take. We would then go through final design phase. Once and if approved, we would start construction in the July-August time period, and that would continue until July of August of 2027, at which time we would anticipate the fire station to open. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions about the timeline or the process we've been involved with. Very good. The next item I have to present, I know we've talked about this individually, but it's not been on this board's record. I want to put it on the record. As we have talked openly about our contractor we've been using in Western Zionsville, the Perry Township Volunteer Fire Department. We've been working with them for several years to plan for and prepare for this dissolution process. And as of January of this year, all of the Perry Township Fire Department land that they owned has been transitioned over to the town of Zionsville and is owned by the town of Zionsville, therefore making it our 4th fire station currently. And when I say land, while there may be multiple parcels as part of these, there are 3 general locations. One is the most visible that you all may know, and that is the fire station on State Road 267. That's what I call location number 1. Just across the street from that fire station and slightly north, you may notice a grass open field. That's what I'll call location number 2. Perry Township used to own that. That's now property of the town of Zionsville. The 3rd and final parcel is up north or further north on State Road 267. And if you've seen any drawings where they're estimating the Ronald Reagan may come in, there's about a 3.5 acre parcel up there that Perry Township has owned. That has also been transitioned to the town of Zionsville. So all of that is underneath the town of Zionsville. I would say that as part of the fire station construction project, there are significant needs as part of that project. So we'll be coming back to the council and asking for approvals to deem those properties surplus and go through that process of selling and liquidating those parcels to utilize those funds to help pay for needs for tools and equipment for that Fire Station 295 property. Other important assets that Perry Township Volunteer Fire Department are 2 more remaining. One of those are the vehicles. They have 3 vehicles. Know that as of January of this year, all of those vehicles have been transitioned over to the town of Zionsville. We own them. They are titled in our name. They are plated and insured in our name. So all of those tasks have been completed. While it's not required, the 3rd and final component is in discussions with the Perry Township Board of Directors and Fire Chief Doug Everett. They've agreed to transition their cash balances, and they're going to look at doing that throughout 2027, maybe in one step, and then, in 2026, one step, and then a final transition in 2027, actually, when we move into the fire station and transition over. We're not talking about millions of dollars. We're talking about maybe upwards of $100,000 total, but it still helps. And again, that would be their request is that those funds be put into an account to be only spent on Fire Station 95, not to be spent on any other town needs or even any other fire department needs, but to be spent on Western Zionsville Fire Department. And again, discussions with myself and the mayor were amenable to those, and again, we'll be working through some type of agreement to see that done. But I wanted to provide this body an update regarding the fire station land and their vehicle. And we say vehicle, that includes all their tools, equipments, and other miscellaneous assets.
What's the total acreage that they're transferring?
5 to 7 total between the 3 parcels.
Well, I guess, yeah, you said the 1.5, and then what is the station that currently, it's a tiny lot?
Yeah, the lot across the street's the smallest.
Okay.
Because it's really a residential lot, maybe, if you were to drive by there and compare that. Then the fire station and the land further north is probably around the 2 to 3 acre, generally.
Any idea what to do with the plan with the building on site is, or just
Selling everything.
Okay.
And we'll probably look at that in a 2-step process. One would be to sell the vacant land. I think there's interest in the 2 vacant land parcels right now. Now, we've got to go through a process with the council to liquidate those and do that first and foremost. And obviously, we would not want to sell the old fire station property until we've moved. And that may take a little bit longer and do that maybe in 2027. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just wondering, are the equipment, and like the vehicles and the equipment, is that in good working condition, or is it something we'll have to replace?
It's in a fairly good working condition. Again, when we took possession of them in January, our Fleet Service Division brought them all in and went through there are some things that we found that we did not know. For some things you may not be aware is that municipal vehicles, especially public safety vehicles, cannot operate on tires that are more than 10 years old. and while they haven't been used very much, they were all over 10 years old. So those were costs that we didn't really anticipate as part of that. So we had like an $8,000 bill to change tires on fire trucks that were there. But other than that, we have, as part of our ongoing contract for Perry Township, providing most of the, if not all the building maintenance for the building. We already take care of the utilities. We know what the utility costs are. We've been providing a lot of their general repair for tools and durable items. So no other surprises. The tires was the biggest item, but we were able to partner that with our other fleet of vehicles that needed tires and try and get the best pricing we could.
Chief, can we pay ourselves back out of that 100,000 once it comes in?
We would be asking, the agreement with Perry Township would be that those dollars would be available for new items for the fire station.
After transition? Because in my mind, those tires are on Perry trucks.
Yeah, we could, but I'd also tell you that, again, the needs for Fire Station 295 far exceed our $8 million budget, and we've had to make some substantial changes to the fire station that allow it to be a 50-year building and serve the community great. But we're going to need to add some elements along the way that we've had to remove, so we'll be asking either through the council or through the safety board to be able to have access to those funds for the sale of land or their cash balances to purchase things like an air compressor, a gear washer, things of that nature that we've had to exclude from the project just because it didn't fit in the $8 million construction costs.
I wondered when we were approving the bond if we had matched the project to the bond. So it's sounding like
We did.
sort of.
We had a painful first meeting, and it's also, as you get a group of people, and if you've ever gone through your individual home, sometimes you sit down and you list all the wishes you have. And our first budget meeting with our development team came back and said, that's great, we've got all your things down, and our first budget estimate's $12.9 million. And we said, we can't do 12.9, so we need to go back to the drawing.
8.6.
8.6 all in, $8 million for construction, $650,000 covers your legal and bond processing. So we don't have access to the 650, just $8 million.
Okay.
And that'll be part of the presentation, which we have on the April 20th for the council, because it's the council decides and acts on that contract to engage GMP for GM development. If there are no questions on those items, the last next two items will be covered by Deputy Chief Potts, and that'll be a quick review of our 2025 calls for services, and then he'll also give you an update on our emergency warning sirens. Chief Potts.
Good morning.
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 I have a lot of notes. Appreciate the time to go over the calls for service for 2025. Included in your packet was a spreadsheet that had about 11 years worth of data. At Councilor Norris's request, we really wanted to dig into what kind of calls that we go on and try to give you some trend data. To start, our calls for service have increased by 5% from 2024 to 2025. That was an addition of 143 incidents. Our EMS responses were close to holding the line, only decreasing by 7 incidents from 2024. This technically was not unexpected, as the totals from 2023 to 2024 were extremely high, kind of outside the trend line that we were running. Really the big anomaly in this category was the vehicle collision that required extrication. We only had 1 in 2025. And as of today, we've had 3 in 2026. And you'll see the trend, we were running about 8 to 10 a year. So that was something that was a little bit different in that EMS line. Our biggest increases were in the good intent category, which were up 19%. That category includes canceled calls, smells of smoke and gas odors. And then the false alarm category was also up by 22%. Calls in the fire category were up 31 calls in 2025. We did see an increase in structure fires and outside open burning subcategories. I know there's a lot of information in there in that packet, but that is all of our calls for service from 2014 to 2025, so you can see how the demand has increased in that amount of time. It's also important to point out that all of these numbers are actual requests for service from the public. We do not count any self-generated calls, self-generated activities. So if we do public education events, standby events, things like that, those are not included in the actual incidents. These are actual 911 calls or walk-ins to the stations. So this is true public demand for service by the fire department. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. I know there's a lot of data, and feel free if you don't have something now and have something later, reach out to me, email, whatever. Happy to answer any questions.
No, thank you, Deputy Chief Botts. I wanted to put this together just to see kind of where we were tracking in terms of kind of year over year. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious now. I mean, just look at the calls of service from 2022, 2023 to 2025. I mean, you're talking about a 300 to 400 call jump in some spots in there. So, no,
Yeah.
thank you for this. It's helpful.
You're welcome. And based on the data that we're seeing, you'll see at the very end of that spreadsheet is some district responses. You'll see that in District 92, that's the Union Township area, that they went down a little bit. We expect with new subdivisions, an additional extended care facility being up there, that we are going to see an increase in that district just for demand.
I did wonder about that as we have more assisted living places hop up on 421.
Yeah, those tend to trend as an immediate demand, and then the housing comes in a little bit later.
Also noticed that, again, as we all knew, and I assume that the EMS calls, right, vastly outnumber
Yes.
the other service calls.
Yeah, about 60-40.
Yeah. Thank you.
I thought one thing we could inform the public on would be the rubbish and trash and waste fire. That was an interesting jump. I know it's not a huge number of your numbers, but what are we doing?
It did have a significant increase in the amount of open burns that we've had in the district, and I don't know if, right now if that was due to weather, that was due to different construction. I know we had a couple of events on the east side of our district where they were clearing some area out, so we went out there multiple places, but that does not represent that whole increase. So what you've identified, I did the same thing. I was like, wow, there's a lot of open burning complaints and things like that, and
Is that an education thing that we need to put out there?
It is a little bit of an education thing, and it's also what we try to do is we don't go looking for those fires, but when we go out there, we do educate them on what the burn ordinance is. And if you go to our website, we have information on our website about what you can do and can't do when it comes to open burning. But really, that's one of the things that we're trying to add in our public education part, that we really talk about, hey, here's the effects of open burning, here's what you can do in Zionsville. And essentially, anywhere in the town of Zionsville, you cannot burn unless it's natural materials, enclosed container, covered, and things like that. And if you have more questions about that, anyone can call into our fire prevention office and they can give you more information, or go to the website.
Well, a call for action would be maybe pulling together some sort of, I guess, public notice that could be shared by the town through our communications, and just have a slide of some sort that could educate, because we have enough people that follow our town page that it could just be a reminder of what the ordinance is and what you can and can't do.
Absolutely.
'Cause I don't think people go read our ordinances for fun on a Saturday, but they might see in their feed,
Yeah.
so.
If there's no other questions about calls for service, I'll move on to the next topic.
I'm good. Anybody have any more questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
In our last meeting, I'd reported that we had an issue with our connection between the 911 center and our Zionsville tower for our emergency warning sirens, and we were working on getting a vendor on site to get that taken care of. We found that there was an issue with the actual transmitter at the end, at the bottom of our tower, and that was resolved and had been repaired. Last week, we participated in the statewide tornado drill, and we actually found out that we had 2 additional issues after that was resolved that affected our new system. And what I have on the screen, excuse me. On the screen, you'll actually see the map of our town. And in the red is our new tornado sirens that we have, and in the green are our legacy sirens. So we're actually running 2 different systems. So that the reason I bring that up is kind of explain what we had going on. Immediately after the test, we found that there was an issue with the signal that was coming from the 911 center to the transmitter. We worked with IT departments in both Zionsville and Boone County. We were able to get that connection restored about an hour after the statewide test. We also found that there was a software issue with the new system that we had that prevented us from manually triggering the new sirens that we had. Working with the vendor, we fixed that issue and added a notification that if there is a failure, that we're aware of it when the failure occurs, not when we actually need the siren. So it'll send a message to let us know that there's a disconnect from the siren from our new system. So after these changes were made, we were able to send signals to the new sirens, the new system, to verify that they were online and working. In the next test of our system entirely as a whole, both the legacy and the new siren system, will be this Friday at noon, weather permitting. It's one thing important to point out that the emergency warning sirens are really not designed. We had a lot of questions about this after the statewide test. They're not designed to be really heard in your home. Obviously, you can see we place them throughout the town, but the best way for notifications is your cell phone or getting a NOAA weather radio. And happy to help people if they need to know where to find that. We can help them locate those things. But the sirens are great for outside. And really, I feel the one thing they say is, well, we didn't hear the sirens after the statewide test. I would not have let them go if I didn't have confidence after working with the vendors and the testing and the signals that we sent that to say that they weren't going to work with us with the weather that we've had in the last week. So I have very, very, very high confidence that we're not going to have a problem coming up on Friday or would have had a problem if we needed to set them off. So if you
That's good to know.
any questions about that, I can try and dig a little deeper.
Sounds like another slide you can make.
Yeah.
How to find out, what, do we need to follow a specific app? Do we need to have a Boone County Sheriff?
Yeah, so-
Text messaging?
So I was working with Alexa. We're going to put together something with the next test to talk about what triggers the sirens, what triggers the activation. There's been a couple things changed in protocol as far as do the sirens go off in a severe thunderstorm warning during a tornado watch? No, they don't. They used to, but they don't anymore. That's a protocol that changed a couple years ago, which is why on Tuesday, when we had that situation that the sirens didn't go off, it's because that protocol had changed. So we're going to get all that information out there and try and clear some of those things up that came through the questions during the statewide test.
I think that's a really good point to make, because with testing, and it used to go off during watches and thunderstorms, I think some people became siren deaf. And so a good messaging would be that if you hear the siren now, it's real, take cover.
Yeah, that was one of the things that, as we got everything resolved about an hour later, we were starting to get high winds, and then we talked about triggering them again on Friday, and with the high winds and the weather that we were having, it just was not a good idea in my opinion, talking to EMA to try and do another test really without a whole lot of information going out there. So that's why we held off and we're waiting until this week's test.
Okay. Okay, great. Any other questions? Thank you.
And our fifth and final element underneath our fire department monthly report is our most important item, and that is an update on our staffing. And to give an update on that is Deputy Chief Aaron Gibbons.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So before I jump in your guys' pack, you guys will find a staffing outlook that you guys that have been on the board are accustomed to seeing. Before I get into that, just want to share a brief update of where we are staffing wise and why the sheet looks like it does before I get into it. So in January of this year, we experienced 2 retirements, one being Captain Lance Turner. He had 17 years with Zionsville. He came to us with previous experience, and he retired. Shortly thereafter, Lieutenant Steve Hayes had 18 years here at Zionsville. He came to us also with previous experience, and he retired. The other thing that we also, as we've talked about these staffing reports, we always talk about the number of people we have injured, whether that be in the line of duty or not in the line of duty. And right now, unfortunately, we're experiencing 2 people that are injured that required surgery in the line of duty. And then we also had a third person that experienced an injury that was non-line of duty related, that he's still restricted as well. So really, we're talking about 2 additional retirements, 3 people that we don't see out in on the truck staffing our trucks right now. That obviously is impacting our day-to-day operations and what our staffing level is on our trucks. As you guys also know, we hired at the end of last year in preparation for this year. 3 of those were new hires that were approved, and they started the academy in January. And then we had 4 replacements for the 2 retirements that I mentioned, plus we had 2 previous retirements that occurred in 2025. So we had 7 new hires that started the academy in January. They progressed their way. They finished up EMT. They became certified in EMT 2 weeks ago. All of them passed flying colors. But unfortunately, last week we were notified by one of the 7 recruits that unfortunately that this line of work, he just doesn't believe it's for him. As we transition into the fire side, he had some reflection, and he came to the staff of the academy and said, I just don't think this is for me. And as of last week, he resigned. So we're now down to 6 in the academy, as we were obviously hoping to get 7 come June, really see him on shift in July. So there's a little bit of relief coming with our restricted duty or injured people. We have hopes of seeing at least one of them return here in the next month or so. The other one's a couple months out, and then the other one still hasn't had surgery yet. So it's going to be a much longer time frame for that third one. So as I transition from there, if you
So what are we doing? What are we doing about the one, the 7th?
so that basically that one vacancy we now have.
Yeah.
So right now, we haven't made a determination. I have my training division reaching out to neighboring departments around us to see if there's any recruit academies in the near future. As of Friday, we knew of one that unfortunately there's no way we would be able to get somebody through the testing to become a potential hire and make the start of the class, which was the middle of April. So we're still reaching out to neighboring departments, because I believe, as we've shared in the past, for us, the resources to put one person through the academy is, it's a big strain on us, obviously, as an agency, and we're already engaged in one recruit academy. So as of right now, there's no tentative plan as to where we potentially are going to be able to get a recruit into. Wherever we're aware that there are some departments that are going to be doing an academy, it's just going to be a matter of, does the timing work, and do they have open slots in the academy? So as of right now, we don't have an exact plan on that. That's something that we're going to start ramping the process up, and that was already started last week.
Sorry to break your train of thought.
No, you're good. Any other questions as I jump into the staffing outlook? So if you guys find the staffing outlook that's for March 22nd through April 11th, it's the same look that we've shown you guys in the past. So anywhere you see green, that is where they are meeting the staffing need. So example, our battalion chief runs by themselves. So if you see green and there's a 1, you know that we have staffing on that day for the battalion chief vehicle. If you see the yellow slots, that means that they are running basically at minimum staff for that apparatus for the day. So for the engines, that would be 3, or the ladder, that would be 3. And then anywhere you see the red, whether that be on an engine or an ambulance or even the battalion chief, that means they're short a person. So as you can see, the first few days of this look don't look terrible, but then once we get into the middle of it, you'll see that there are some days that we're short 2 people, that we're mandatory and people to work overtime. And I believe there's actually one day that we're going to be mandatory and 3 people to work 24 hours for those 3 different spots. So really just wanted to show you that unfortunately, it's gotten a little bit worse. Obviously, when we get 6 people out of the recruit academy come come June and we really see them on shift in July, it'll help some. But the key thing is as well is we can't control if people get injured in the line of duty, and we always hope that everybody stays healthy. But naturally, with around 90 firefighters, it seems to be we have kind of a trend that we do get injured, and we tend to have at least one person that is unfortunately on light duty. And right now we just happen to we have 3. So happy to answer any questions you may have on the staffing outlook.
So looking at all of this outlook, I see, obviously, this is spring break in Zionsville. So are we down people because someone has planned time off and then someone got hurt? Or is this where we're seeing all the hurt people?
It's both. So the way that the fire department does our time off is at the end of the year in 25, typically around November. We do what's called PTO calling, and everybody gets to basically, for the year of 2026, they get to go in, and based on seniority and number of days they're awarded, they get to go in and select their days that ensures that we have staffing. So that was completed, so that this reflects that, but then this also reflects, well, we didn't account for one of our shifts to be short 2 people and then another shift to be short 1 person, on top of obviously hoping that we get these recruits out of the academy to kind of help supplement that. So this actually reflects both. This is time off as well as injuries.
I was trying to get my head where it's okay, it's bad, it's okay on this date.
And some of that
spreadsheet.
also may be reflected too, because this also reflects in our Kelly days. So obviously, every firefighter gets a Kelly day. So some of this also, if more people chose a Wednesday, for example, on one shift, Wednesday they may be short 1 person versus the other shift may only have 3 people on a Wednesday Kelly day. So that's all contemplated in this. Do you have something to add?
Yeah, I would preface the comment that I would say, what I would say is that it's really bad every day, because the Zionsville Fire Department is short, as you can see, every single day. There's not a single day on that calendar that we have staff. And we want to thank the council last year for giving us the ability to hire 3. And as you remember, through our conversations, that still leaves us 6 firefighters short. So we should be having 6 more firefighters on our payroll to help this staffing, but we don't. So therefore, when these things happen, we're running short every single day. Fishers, Carmel, places like that are not having the staff like that. And yes, this is my pitch at the podium about budgets and talking about things, and I'll be short and succinct, but I want to make sure we cover that, is that staffing is our number one thing, our employees are our number one thing. The only way we deliver service is by effectively staffing the equipment. And while you see yellow days, we're able to staff them, but we're putting the firefighters at risk, and we're asking them to do more work than their counterparts in neighboring communities in delivering those services with fewer people.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, sir.
Between 2019, 2020, and 2023, 2024, how many firefighters were you able to hire?
Plus positive,
Plus positive.
I'd have to go back and look, but I would say 5 to 6 total, and 3 of those being last year.
So I meant.
Oh, before that? Yeah.
Before 2020, before last year, how many were you able to hire? A couple?
Yeah, minimal numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I want to.
Go back to the sheet.
I want to go back to the fact that this isn't by any means, I don't think, an indication that this has been years in the making of prior administrations that had prior goals and objectives that didn't necessarily, in my opinion, probably address the staffing needs. And then we're kind of in the position now that we're trying to play catch up here. Three firefighters last year was a lot of work to get that, to fight for that. And we're going to continue to fight for it.
And I would say that 2027, again, I don't mean to steal the mayor, and you guys will see this too as we go in the budget cycle. It doesn't get better in 2027 either. So the priority of the dollar is going to become critical for those of you that are on the council. And there are going to be a lot of tough conversations and stuff. And again, we're just here to make sure we communicate that. The other thing I would say is that these numbers of being short 6 people today have nothing to do with Fire Station 295.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
It's going to get, I don't want to say worse, but it's going to get more challenging, because what we're going to do is we're going to be able to address that. And how we're going to address that is we're going to take the resources we have at Fire Station 293 and we're going to split that up. So now we're reassigning resources, is one way to say it, but we're also moving those resources. So the resources that the District 93 enjoyed or had for the last 7 years are now going to be less, and we're going to take those people that work there, we're going to put them out at Fire Station 95 to address that. So really, I just want to kind of set the tone here and say, hey, when we get in the budget, people say, wait a second, Chief, you said we needed 12, then we got down to 9, and now we got to 6. We're making, and then when we come budget time this year, guess what? We're going back up. So you're going to see us saying that we are going to be short come 2027, 15 firefighters to be able to minimally staff what we have, let alone provide services to all of these different areas. So again, I don't want to take too much of your time today, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that today so that you can see what's coming down the pike. Some of our funding needs are going to be there.
I'm just going to check that number. You went down to short 6, but going up to short 15. So the 9 are for 295 that we would need?
So to return those services to what we have today, that would put the services back at Fire Station 293 and backfill the positions, yeah. Last time we opened a Fire Station 293, we added 15 new firefighters. We're going to open a new fire station and add that many new firefighters, 0. And the only way we accomplish that is by moving people around, but that's putting fewer people at each fire station, so the response times are going to get a little bit longer.
Yeah, okay. Noted.
Sorry.
And the spreadsheet's gonna look a whole lot worse than it is now.
A quick side note to it too, and when Chief Gibbons said is the occupation of being a firefighter is extremely dangerous. Again, we have 2 of the 3 injuries we have, and what we have not planned for, and again, be part of that number, is that now that we're 80, 90 firefighters, we need to plan for these people being injured and having 1 person on light duty just about year round. Right now, we have 3, so maybe we need to up that a little bit. And you cannot plan for these one-off events. The injury to the firefighter that is not work-related happens to be, you may have saw this winter where there was a 100-car pileup in Michigan and stuff like that. One of our firefighters was involved in that injury, and he's been off work since then. So that's the off work.
It's like literally nothing he can do about that,
How do you
right?
plan
It's not-
that?
He wasn't playing basketball and rolled his ankle or anything like that.
He was with his fiance coming back from a
horrible.
Christmas holiday, coming back to working his way back through a snowstorm and got involved in the 100-car pileup. So again, those are the challenges that we face, and Chief Gibbons does a great job with him and his battalion chief staff of doing the best they can. The other thing I would say, last year, the safety board helped lead this off. I think it's a little too early to say, but I want to be upfront, is we were budgeted for $540-ish thousand in overtime. We spent about 35% of that in the first 2 months. We could be close to 40-ish% of our overtime budget in the first 3 months. So long story short is I may be coming back to ask for some more funds. We'll wait and see. We're projecting this because, again, the good news is in July, we were hoping for 7. Now we're going to see 6 new recruits come out. Should lighten this load a little bit. But we're watching that very closely to see how we're doing.
There's no chance of any laterals, right? Or I mean, could we go out and get a lateral for that 7th? I just don't know what the market's like.
We did the last hiring process where we had tremendous success from our recruitment team. We had 1 lateral in that process, and we hired them, and they were a paramedic.
Okay, so we're not even getting laterals at the annual awards banquet a couple weeks ago. You said we have a list of 300 or so.
Yes.
And those are all people that just need to get into an academy.
Correct.
Okay.
And sometimes, like even the lateral that we hired, by the time you research the lateral and you talk to them about how long that was their initial training, and you find out, oh, well, it was only 3 or 4 weeks. It really wasn't a full-blown academy. So that lateral that we hired, we had to send back through the academy because they didn't have a full 22-week worth of in-depth training and stuff like that. So not always is a lateral an immediate filler, if you would, for the staffing.
Okay. I didn't know, yeah. That's tough. If there's no lateral hires, there's no lateral hires.
And I think I asked this last time we talked about having people on workers' comp or how the finance department was handling that money, because for me, that money should go into the overtime budget line because it's money that's are we getting money from any kind of insurance policy?
The insurance policy pays the employee.
Only?
So we have a relief of some of that. So if they're off on short-term disability or long-term disability, they provide the relief directly to the employee. So we're relieved from that. But now I have a vacancy over here where this employee can't work in their operational role. there is no coverage for that, so that's just a shortage. And that's kind of where our
Do we
overtime.
continue to pay, do we make them whole based on workers' comp? Or, because my point being, if workers' comp is covering their weekly paycheck, then the money that we're not paying them should be going into the overtime fund, because then it's paying for who's replacing them.
Yeah,
That's-
workers' comp only covers about 66 2/3% of the salary. We make them whole.
We make them whole.
For the balance thereof, especially for the work-related injuries. If it's not work-related, then they compensate that with a wellness time, PTO, comp time. And the town also has a employee submitted bank there. If you don't have enough time, that time can be, you can apply for that use of that time as well. But there's no extra money to take from, there's not money coming in from workers' comp or insurance that we could then move over into an overtime line item or staffing. It doesn't.
Well, it's more that I'm thinking we have 100% of the paycheck, and we're now only paying 33% of the paycheck, so there's still 66% of the paycheck. This money was in your original budget for salary, so that money should be moved into the overtime budget that's paying for the people, and that could grow our overtime budget right now. We could do a reallocation of money that's,
We do that at the end of the year. We do a reappropriation at the end of the year with any unspent dollars within the personnel line gets moved into the overtime. But with us being full and having the full number of people employed, there's not significant funds there. And keep in mind that you have straight dollar coming in for pay, or you had that pay. Now, I've got an overtime spot, so it's going out at 1.5 times the rate opposed to.
oh, no,
1
I
time.
understand needing more money, but I am saying there is money that could be reallocated based on the percentage times the weeks they're out. If they're out 10 weeks, then
It's probably
66%.
nominal though, because that vacated hour is then, as he said, eaten up by 1.5 times pay.
I understand, but if we're gonna
There-
be
there'll be
asked for,
something.
we're gonna be asked for another appropriation, why not grab some of the money that's in the salary now? And, I don't know.
No, I understand what you're
I
saying.
think
If
the
we're
one
ahead of
thing,
it by
If we're
the
ahead of
property
budget by
taxes,
50,000, shift that over
yeah,
first before
maybe
we-
it's only 50,000, but it's
Yeah.
50,000 less we have to pull from the general fund
Correct.
to do
I
a
followed. You're right.
new appropriation.
I think the only thing that I was gonna add as a reminder, though, is that 66 2/3 that they're paying is only covered when they're off duty. But as soon as they're allowed to come back with restrictions and work light duty, we're covering that because we're accommodating those restrictions, because obviously we want them to be able to come to work. So really, the 66 2/3 that we would be saving is only from day of surgery until the doctor says you can go back for,
Right.
office work with no more than 5 pounds. So it's not weeks and weeks. Typically, most surgeries, it's a week or two, depending on, obviously, the severity of it. So it's usually pretty small windows whenever what
I
we're
was
really
just
talking
trying,
about.
based on, you told me about these people in November, and it's March, so, I don't know. I didn't know when they were cleared by the doctor or anything, so, I mean, I don't need to know it. I understand HIPAA, but,
Because light duty doesn't help you guys out really
Right.
at all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a support of our employees to make sure they're whole, make sure we're getting something out of them. If they're getting a paycheck, they're able to help us administratively. And again, we really appreciate that. But the problem is on the operations side, there's a void.
Yeah, they're not an FTE when it comes to doing the work, yeah.
and I want to be clear, I'm not saying they shouldn't be whole. I absolutely think they should
we
be whole.
appreciate-
I'm talking budget line items, shifting monies, making appropriations real numbers instead of leaving some money in the salary line. Okay.
Anything else for me?
I have one request, and I don't know if we talked about this in the past. I'd love to see the last time you presented this below it if we could, just
Sure.
cut and paste. Just to see like, oh yikes, it's getting worse, it's getting worse, it's getting worse.
Sure.
Also notice is if you have a longer period of time, you can see some more trending.
Yeah, just to,
Sure.
I mean, I think the two snapshots side by side or.
Do you want the
of them-
prior week or 2 weeks?
Just the last
or
time
do you
it was
want
presented to
a
us
year
is
ago,
all.
is my point. Do you want
Oh.
a year ago, or do you want?
I don't care really much about a year
It's-
ago.
okay.
I'd like to see how we're trending since the last time we talked about it.
We'll do. There's a 21-day pay period for the firefighters, stuff like that. And then we try and find the 21-day pay period about the time when we're having a meeting, so you can see real snapshot of what's happening today. And that's why he picks those. But we can go back and find that at that time.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Just a comparative.
I mean, if you want a year ago, that,
I
it
know.
makes sense.
I kind of want a year ago.
I'm fine with that.
Same timeline. Okay, thank you. But if you want something.
No, that's, I can live with that.
All right. Old business.
Yes, Madam President. Deputy Chief Potts and I are before you this morning. You may recall back to November, we came and presented, actually, I think it was October, November, talked about the fire station feasibility plan and where we are planning fire station for the future. You guys were very supportive of that, approved that plan with one outstanding to-do item, and that was for us to review Fire Station 294 is what we're calling it, as to where that fire station should go. Our original plan called for us to utilize land already owned by the fire department at the intersection of 875 East and 400 South. You may recall back to the fire station feasibility plan, it actually said that the best location to serve Zionsville for the future would be about where Pearson Tennis Center was. And obviously, we're not going to acquire or wouldn't suggest acquiring that property or the school property. There wasn't much there. So he said we would stay up north. Since that time, many months ago, DPW has come forward with their campus design for which the council has, full town council has approved funding, and they're only going to be using the back portion of their lot for the DPW campus and left the front portion of their lot along 875 open. So the town owns both of these. These are no new costs for the town, but allows us, the fire department, to continue to plan for the future, make sure that we can kind of put a stake in the ground. And we say, okay, we know where these fire stations are going to go for the next 20, 30 years. You know, we've got Fire Station 295 that we've already bought the land we're now building on. We bought land on Michigan Road across from Holiday Farms. That's what we're referring to as Fire Station 297. So we have the land ready to go there, and this is just securing land. So the final piece that we come before you today to ask your consideration would be to approve the fire department staff recommendation that we would move Fire Station 294 from town-owned land at the intersection of 875 to the new location, which would be town-owned land in front of the DPW campus. To orient you to the map you're seeing there, that diagonal line is the Big 4 rail trail. So it puts us just south of the Big 4 rail trail on 875. And again, this drawing is conceptual only. Our consultants do this to study and say, would it fit on this site and be able to be of resource? The other thing that drew our attention to this location, a couple things Jason will show you, some heat maps, again, response time analysis, but also the DPW campus is on this drawing where you see 3 base station at 1800. Directly underneath that, you see some trees and a road. That's a concept drawing for the DPW campus. But they're going to be putting in the DPW campus, so they're going to be putting this year and next year, so they're going to be bringing in all the utilities. Having those utilities there will eventually save us costs in the long run. That's another reason why we like this site, because while it may only be 400 yards north at the County Road intersection of 875 and 400, there are no utilities there. We're talking about sewer primarily, data, and some other infrastructure. There is water there, but this would be potentially even less expensive from a utility standpoint. And I'll let Chief Potts talk about some of the heat maps and other information as to why we like this new site for Fire Station 294.
So during the review, you may recall, inside that packet of the feasibility study was this heat map. What you're seeing right now is the map of Station 294 in its previous location on 875 East and 400 South. Really, what I'll point you out to, thank you, is really this area is where you're going to see the difference. This is County Road 250 South, going north from 875. If we look at what the move is, I'll kind of switch between slides. There's not a whole lot of change, and what you see in red is that's a 2-minute travel time from the time that we get the call, get dressed, get in the truck, and start wheels turning. They estimate that we can get to the areas in red in 2 minutes. So it's really a short amount of time just for that short amount of movement that we had from that previous location to the new one. And then you'll see with the second map is actually the addition of Station 297. So this is a full build out down the road when we have all the stations in here, what our response time coverage is. So that's kind of goes back to why we were doing the planning itself, as far as long-term goals, long-term vision of how we can serve the community, so.
So we would ask your approval for the final Fire Station 294 location to be situated in front of the DPW campus. So that would conclude our fire station feasibility plan. Again, this concept does not lock you into having to purchase any property. We own both properties, but it also allows the town council as well as departments to start talking about, okay, well, since we're going to vacate that land up there, what are we going to do with the remaining area? So at least there's some direction that we know what's going to happen. Again, no cost incurred with this, but it does wrap up and close out our fire station feasibility plan, and we would ask for your support in this recommendation.
How many acres or what acreage is the property north that we are vacating?
It's a much smaller parcel. This parcel here is much larger. Again, it's hard to break it off. I want to say it's about 3 acres-ish. Up north, this area down here is could be upwards of 5 acres of road frontage along 875. So it's a bigger site, provides more flexibility, although we're not planning to build a bigger firehouse in any stretch of the imagination. But the thing it gained us was just access to utilities, and it should reduce construction cost when that day does come.
And to give the public an idea of this map, obviously we see the roads, but the bottom, drive me to Trailside.
Correct. The bottom that you see in the gray.
Yes.
Just south of that is the driveway to Trailside Elementary.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear.
And then for reference of where the other property was, that's right on the southwest corner of 875 and 400 South, where in just north of the dog park where the gardens.
Okay.
Literally moving it a couple hundred feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this sounds good. I think having more acreage, potential training area, using the utilities is huge. And I'm assuming the school had the utilities come to Trailside, so it's not much of a problem hooking in.
I was going to say, the other key for us is how we transmit data. Is years ago, we partnered with the school, how we connect all of our voice and data, like the Fire Station 93 out west, is the town hall and the fire station here connected to the high school, and the high school's already run all their fiber to all their buildings, so we just push all of our data and voice through the school. So again, being closely located to school property works very, very well for us for many different reasons.
Does anyone have any concerns about it?
I would say that there were some previous school board members that saw a vision years ago that helped us get some things going.
It made a lot of sense, yeah. It's a good collaboration.
All right, well, I move that we send our approval for this change in the feasibility study.
Second.
All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And that passes 5-0. I think the graphics are great. It is easier for us to make this kind of decision with all the work you put into it, so thank you.
We'll try to add it and not have as many technical issues with the first one.
Kudos to Chief Potts for leading that fire station feasibility project.
Absolutely. All right, and we have no new business. Does anyone up here have an other matter? Anything you want to address? Okay, and then you were going to give us a Stryker 360 presentation and demonstration. There's someone in the audience that wants to be shown.
Kind of just been sitting around, hasn't it? I'll be really brief. We appreciate your extra time this morning. Over the past 2 years, we've worked to identify our emergency medical service equipment needs by utilizing our EMS committee, which is led by Division Chief of EMS Tad Henderson, who identified our durable emergency medical equipment that we were using and things that we needed and did not have, and also items that were nearing the end of life. And also were not covered under warranty and were beginning to cause significant budget impact to us. Through this process, that team identified 8 essential pieces of durable EMS equipment that needed to be addressed, and that included what we'll refer to as power loads. Chief Henderson will go over this. Basically, once you have a patient on a cot or gurney, it gets to the ambulance, it's able to physically and mechanically pick that up without having to strain the employees. The cot itself is known as a power cot, meaning it goes up and down with battery-operated motors. The Lucas automated CPR device, advanced cardiac monitors, a stair chair for patient moving, video laryngoscopes, and updated automatic external defibrillators, otherwise known as AEDs, and also addressing our warranty needs and EMS supplies. Ultimately working through Mayor John Stair and with funding provided by the Town Council this past year, we work with Stryker Medical through a Sourcewell, which is a national government procurement process to secure what's known as the ALS 360 lease program. This is a 10-year fixed cost agreement for all of those durable medical equipments that I just mentioned, and it also ensures that all this equipment is maintained within its service life and includes bumper-to-bumper warranty on any and all items. Specifically, the ALS 360 program replaces all durable medical equipment on day one, which was January of this year, and then approximately 5 years into this 10-year agreement, everything gets replaced again, so none of our stuff is older than 5 years of age. Ensuring that we always have access to cutting-edge medical devices to deliver the care to our community. This agreement also includes bumper-to-bumper warranty, as I mentioned. The cost, again, not always do people want to talk about the cost, but it is significant. The cost, which is approximately $364,000 each year for the 10-year period of time. And that agreement does cover 10 LifePak 35s, those advanced cardiac monitors, 5 Lucas devices, 6 power load cots like the one you're going to see, 6 patient cots, 5 stair chairs, 8 McGrath video laryngoscopes, 12 automated external defibrillators, and warranty for all of those items. Literally, if we drop them and they become damaged, it's all covered. The only thing is if we're found to physically being damaged in themselves, that's on us. And then we also get a discounted rate for all of the supplies at which we purchase. And we're super excited to have with us this morning Division Chief of EMS Tad Henderson. If he'd come forward and briefly go over each item before you this morning and help answer any questions you have.
Good morning.
Morning.
Tab?
So all these items that the chief was graciously talking about comes because you guys make the things that you do happen here for us, so I really appreciate it. The LifePak you see before you is the one right here. So that's the LifePak 35. So this is the newer model, the newest model that they have, and it has a touch screen on it that allows for you, no matter what's on your gloves, doesn't matter how icky your hands get in the scene or whatever, it still works and functions also very similarly to the old one as well. So it's got a familiarity to it for guys with the little dial, the guys who have been here a long time like myself or these guys here today. They don't lose familiarity. But at the same time, it's lighter. It makes it easier on the person who's carrying it in. If you've ever used one of these or carried it around, which you're welcome to pick it up later and see for yourself, they can be kind of heavy, kind of cumbersome. This one is a little bit lighter for us. It also gives us the ability to not just do a 4-lead or a 12-lead or put a defibrillator pads on somebody and use it as an AED and things like that. It also has the ability to do a 15-lead now, so it has 15-lead capability. We can use the pads to defibrillate someone, obviously, like a normal AED would do. But in addition to that, if someone needs to be paced, they need to be cardioverted, all these terms, if you have a question about it, I'm happy to tell you how to do that. Maybe show you if you want me to. No, I won't do that, I'm kidding. But it gives us all that stuff that we can do and look at people's pulse oximetry, if they have CO in their blood, things like that. Whatever's going on, we can use this monitor to kind of better address our patients specifically as they have a need. So that's a big part of what we get out of this. Another piece that we get out of this is the stretcher that's over here on the right. The stretcher itself, or the cot, if you will, comes with a lot of upgrades as well. So it has lighting on the front that allows us in a dimly lit area to be able to go into a scene and have it light up our path and not trip or stumble over. If you can imagine being this high on a cot like this, you definitely don't want to feel those little bumps and movements, right? So secures the patient. It has a all-wheel access. The wheels actually move a little different now, so very similar to a hospital bed in that way, where each wheel can move independently, or I can lock them in place in certain things, get me into tighter places. It actually reduces on both sides, so it'll get a lot smaller for elevators, people who are on like the 5th floor of like an apartment building, things like that. creates a lot more safer environment for our people. It goes up and down also a lot smoother, so your patient feels way more comfortable as opposed to having those really jerky motions that kind of came with the old one. Not that they were bad, they're just kind of a first gen, right? Additionally, we have a power load system like the chief was talking about. That power load system actually is a huge blessing to everyone who uses it on an ambulance. Your back takes a lot of beating over the years if you're picking up people and putting them in an ambulance over and over and over and letting them out, right? Well, that system is a huge improvement on what we used to do, which was literally just a hook on the back, a lot safer for our patients. If you look on the back of this cot, you can kind of see a little bar that would catch that hook, right? Well, this system actually locks in on both sides of the cot, puts two arms underneath of it, lifts it up, loads it almost by itself. I mean, I can just literally like kind of push it gently, and it just goes in and locks in and lowers the patient safely and softly into the ambulance. Super safe, great for the patient, great for our guys in reducing injuries. One of the big problems with ambulance workers and people on the ambulance would be that back injury. It usually takes people out who get one within that first 3 to 4 years for their lifespan of their career. They cannot physically do it anymore if they have an injury like that. So we basically have eliminated that. We get to keep people a lot longer by using this system for this specific scenario anyway. Our AEDs are also new to us. Even though AEDs have not changed significantly over years and years and years that we've been using them, this one allows us to transmit data back and forth. So if the battery's getting low, if the pads are about to expire, if someone uses it, and I want to know how many times they defibrillated someone, we want information off that, right? Were there gaps in the defibrillation? Did they wait too long to defibrillate somebody? All that information now, because it's hooked up, when it gets back to the administrative vehicles, it dumps all that information to me, and I can see it again, and we can do training on it and improvements and things like that. The Lucas device, which is here on the right-hand side of me, we've had a Lucas device for a while, but we got a brand new one that's completely warranted, and all the little things that go wrong with it now can be replaced for free. It's a wonderful device that does CPR on your patient, and essentially this gives me an extra 2 personnel on the scene to do their jobs even better, right? And things that I may be rushing around to do or trying to get to kind of down the road while we're doing CPR on somebody and I'm kind of alternating back and forth. This allows me to assign those people another task and say, I need this done or I need that done now. So that's a huge blessing, and it never gets tired, so that's another really huge blessing. It'll do its job for at least an hour with the 2 batteries that come with it, which may need to be done. So the other side that we have is the stair chairs. The stair chairs actually, yes, right here. Sorry, I was trying to figure out where it was. Stair chairs are a really big blessing to our guys and their backs and things like that as well. What that does is if you've never used it or sat on it, I would advise you to go ahead and try it. It's kind of nerve-wracking at first when people get on this, but this allows us to have more people there to assure that person and calm them down, walk with them down the stairs, because it does kind of lean back and very gently just take you down a set of stairs or up a set of stairs. It's a lot more secure than the old one was, a lot safer, because it has extra straps and rests for the people taking them down, but also the patient themselves. So we like the improvements on that as well. And then finally, the McGrath radial laryngoscope. It's the one in the tube here in the middle, so it looks small, but it's actually a very mighty tool. If you've never used one or looked at one, what it is when we go to intubate a patient, we utilize this video scope, right? I put it into the patient's mouth or oropharynx, and I'm looking to intubate them manually. Well, now I have a very specific place on this screen that I can see everything that's going on in there. And we've had 100% success with it so far in the short time that we've had it, so that's wonderful. And very quickly, with that, we were able to use it like almost right out of the gate with this video laryngoscope, as well as the defibrillator, or the cardiac monitor, excuse me. We had to cardiovert somebody very quickly, right off like day 2, I think it was, and they worked seamlessly. So wonderful new improvements on what we have. My favorite part of the video laryngoscope is probably the fact that I could sit over as someone on scene with my guy, look over his shoulder and confirm in documentation that, yes, I also saw you properly intubate that person. So a huge advantage for us there. all those little things, or big things, I should say, actually, increase the safety of our guys. They increase the mistakes, or decrease the mistakes that are made by our guys and gals in the fire department. And so, because we have added all these pieces, I just want to thank you again. I really appreciate it. I know that the men and women that work for us greatly, greatly appreciate it. And if you would like to see all these items and play with them, you're more than welcome to. I'll get them all out. I'll let you put your hands on them and push buttons and fix whatever gets broken. Do you have any questions for me?
We have is that each packet, I mean, a kit, I guess, for lack of a better word?
Oh, like the totality of what comes
Do
with
we
it?
have one in each?
On every ambulance that is a frontline ambulance, yes, all of this equipment, except for the AED, because that is also included in the monitor. By default, this is an AED and a cardiac monitor. So that is for administrative personnel, and the rescue truck has an AED as well on it.
But we have full coverage. We
Yeah.
have it everywhere. Okay, good.
In addition, the only thing that would be different is that the cot and the power load obviously is all ambulance transportation. Then we also have a ALS certified engine
Yep.
at each one of the facilities as well that carry a portion of this component. So yes, every frontline vehicle that's responding today has all of these items. And that's why Chief Henderson and the EMS committee worked out those quantities and numbers of items. Also, this LifePak 35, the newest generation of cardiac monitor, is also in his take-home vehicle, so it also provides a spare should something break or something happen. Also, when he responds as the chief of EMS, he's able to not only deliver services, but able to maintain those.
Do we have training for everyone on these,
Oh, yeah.
or is it just casual shift training?
Yeah, a lot of stuff is very similar to what they were already used to, which is great because it creates a familiarity, right? So guys don't have to go in for like 3 hours and learn a brand new piece of equipment. It's also why we stayed with Stryker. A big part of it is same people are making the same type of thing. They're just improving them, right? So kind of what I was talking about with the dial on the front of here, right? Now it's gone to a touch screen. There was a pretty extensive training that we did with those guys, let them learn what the new features were, how to get to all that with the monitor, because that probably was one of the biggest pieces that changed. But it still has that dial, so like I said, guys who are old school like myself, they're so used to using those little fine features, they already still have them, so.
And I was familiar that we had a few Lucas devices from before. Have we spread those around to other trucks, or were they retired due to age?
Yeah, part of the contract is we trade in and get value added back to us and a cost savings when we trade those items in. And so we trade in the ones that may be younger or some of them quite old for some of the pieces that we had. But either way, there's a little bit of money to be gained from that and added as a discount to our contract.
As President Sampson's aware, we had members in the community donate for one of those items. Technically, that item, that serial number was given back, but again, we got credit for that, and it allowed us to put everything on this same schedule and to include all the warranties and stuff. So another community that may be looking at this say, oh, well, we'd like to do the same thing Zionsville did. I can tell you that our number is probably less than other communities because we had some of this stuff and we
some.
got trade-in value
Right.
for those items that were there.
Okay.
And so those contributions from those individuals are still paying off and still paying dividends to the services we're able to deliver.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
I mean, I think it's exciting. Number one, I did do the Citizens Fire Academy, so I did get to participate in trying to do CPR, lift the guy, put it in the truck, and it was like, oh my God, I need a nap. It's only been 15 minutes. So
old-fashioned.
I understand, especially things that would assist in, assist our firefighters and EMT and paramedics for back problems. But then being the person who's not doing well, jostling around. So all of these upgrades are very important and well appreciated by me.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
The one thing I was just thinking about is hearing you talk about that too, is the other thing we get questioned all the time is, well, I call it an ambulance, why is the engine there? Well, you can see that if you've got to take all this stuff in, let alone get it out or use it, you need more than just 2 people to be able to do this. That's why the engine goes on these runs, to be able to provide the right number of manpower. And I think as Dr. Fitz is very aware, what we're trying to do is basically take the ED, the emergency department, and bring the tools and resources to the field to be able to help patient outcomes. So that's another reason why the fire trucks are there as well, to help support the transporting ambulances.
Anything that makes our community safer.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And we're very grateful for it because that's what we're all about, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any comments or questions?
All right.
No? All right, thank you. Thanks for the visual aids. So I would take a motion for adjournment. I don't think we have anything else. Anybody? Okay. All in favor of adjourning? Say aye. Aye. The next regular Safety Board meeting is scheduled for April 20th, 2026 at 8 a.m. or immediately upon the conclusion of the town council meeting. That begins at 7:30, so thank you.